See, now we are going to discuss the formation of micelle, that how the micelle formation take place. See, when we add, as I told you, when we add certain particles, like here we will be taking an example, because when I will take an example and explain you, you will get complete information related to it. So here I am adding soap to water, right? And when I add soap to water, what do I get to see? That the soap molecules get arranged themselves in water in this way. That means, like as I told you, that soap has a tadpole-like structure. Again, I will recall it for you. So this is a, like we have C17H35COONA. Let us take an example of this soap. It is sodium stearate. What is it? It is sodium stearate. So this is a ionic part and this is a hydrocarbon chain. I will write R. Right. So in this tadpole-like structure, this is an ionic part and this is a R, that is the hydrocarbon chain. This ionic part is water loving and this is water repelling. This is what we have here. So what happens when we add this into water, they get randomly arranged. They get randomly arranged and the arrangement is such that the water loving part is towards the water. As you can see, this blue portion is facing towards the water and the other portion which is repelling is just repelling that medium. That is why you get to see in such a way. So this happens. But when you increase the concentration, then what happens? Many molecules occupy the surface, or you can say whole of the surface is occupied by the molecules. But the molecules are more, but the surface available is less. So what happens? They are pulled actually inside. They are actually pulled, they experience a inward force. So that means they are pulled inside, and when they are pulled inside, so what they do actually, they get aggregate to form this kind of structure. That is, the ionic part is just towards the water and the hydrocarbon chain, which is water repelling, is facing toward each other. So in that way we can see that, say that actually the ionic part is trying to shield the hydrophobic part. The ionic part is just trying to shield the effect of water to the hydrocarbon part, because they are actually hating each other, they are repelling each other, right? So this kind of formation is called as micelle, and here you can say it now behave as a colloid. See, this is what happens when we add soap in water, like when we talk about cleansing action of soap. So you know that how soap is capable of cleaning the dust stain or cleaning the grease stain. So how it actually do? So when you add soap molecules into water, they get randomly arranged, as I have shown you in this figure, in the similar way. But when you add a dirty cloth, suppose I add here a cloth which has a grease stain, right? So what they will do actually, the soap molecules will get arranged in such a way that the hydrophobic part towards the dirt or the stain and the hydrophilic part towards the water. So what happens, they just form a micelle. We can say they just form the micelle. Now all the hydrophobic part is going to attract the stain. That means this hydrophobic will have the attraction for the stain, even this will have the attraction for the stain, even this will have the attraction for the stain. So they will start pulling the stain towards each other, and by doing so what will happen, the stain will come into the water, or you can say the grease or any dust particle will come into the water, because all the particles are just fighting for it, because they don't want to be in contact with water, they want to be in contact with the stain or a dust or a grease stain, whatever, like the dirt which is sticking to the cloth. So in such a way, when they are just, you can say due to thermal agitation will be a correct word to use. Due to thermal agitation, what will be there, the grease stain or any stain will break up into the smaller molecules and will remain in the water, and as a result our cloth will get cleaned up. So this is in this way you can explain the cleansing action of soap. If somebody asks you about the cleansing action of soap, you need to explain the structure first, that the soap has the structure a tadpole-like, in which the head and tail and ionic part and the hydrocarbon part, hydrophobic and the hydrophilic part. You need to mention all those, right? Then say that when you add into water, you get arrangement like this, because the figures are very important in this case. You need to draw all figures. And then what happens, when you increase the concentration, the whole surface cannot be occupied by all molecules, so they experience a net inward pull from inside. So they just aggregate to form a micelle. And what is micelle actually? Just an arrangement in which the ionic part is just trying to shield the hydrophobic part, right? And here, if there is a cloth, then these all hydrophobic part is facing towards the cloth. They have the attraction for the stain but not for the water, right? So they will be just fighting for that stain in order to you can say be stable, and in doing so what they will do, they are just doing you can say they are just helping the clothes to get cleaned up, and this is how the soap or the detergents work when they are added into water, that their mechanism just involve the micelle formation, and this micelle lie in the colloidal range. So we classify them as an associated colloids. That is one of the category of the types of the colloidal particles.